Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, welcome back. So I want to do a general recap and an overview of Eric's video earlier on Twitter. Thank you for doing that video. Greatly appreciate it. And I hope you do more videos in the future. And I hope the rest of you that have a good technical understanding and have any interest at all in doing educational type content, I hope you start doing that at some point in the future. It's an open offer. I'm happy to help share your videos and help you grow if you are interested. It doesn't have to be a regular thing. Just throwing that out there. I think everybody would benefit from it. And this way we can start having more constructive conversations about what's happening here with all this technology, big picture. All right, guys, I was really just trying to be a placeholder until smarter people showed up. All right. Because I did believe, big picture, that as this evolved and as crypto became more mainstream, that smarter, more technically knowledgeable people were going to show up at some point in time. And so I do hope that happens. And to some degree, that's already happening. And this image is, in my opinion, right, this is all kind of contingent on the ICP big picture thesis being somewhat accurate. But this image is the best blueprint and layout in one tight, clean image of where we are right now and where all of this is going that I've seen online. And in all reality, and I've made this point before, I don't see any other crypto communities having serious conversations about any type of big picture thesis, right? And so I think this is pretty much only happening in the ICP space. And I do have a general question. Did ICP people come up with the term Web 2.5? Did we coin that term? If so, that's awesome. But I just remember a number of us started using it and I don't remember where it came from. So if anybody knows where Web 2.5, that term came from, if you could let me know in the comment section below, that would be great. Okay. So very high level, the bottom two quadrants here, just look at it as broken down into four different parts. The bottom two quadrants have been the software landscape for the last 15, 20 years. All right. You have big tech cloud and you have the database management systems. Now, I would call these more so foundational type technologies. All right. And if you want to get an idea of where we are and where this is going, this is where we've been. All right. And it looks like over the last couple years, we're transitioning into a Web 2.5 model with layer one blockchain systems being incorporated in to big tech cloud. And so that's what I would call Web 2.5 and what he has labeled as Web 2.5 here. So this is what I was trying to explain in all my prior videos how we have this Web 2.5 model. We've talked about the inherent problems and the risks associated with this model. You have no true data ownership, you have centralization issues, and at the end of the day, big tech can pretty much shut you off at any point in time. You have overwhelmingly more counterparties involved with this model. And so I saw over time us transitioning to a full Web3 model where ICP replaces much of the big tech component, offers real data ownership. Now you can have governance at the network and application level, and it's more secure. So it checks all the boxes. It makes all the sense in the world. There's no real technical reason why over a long enough time frame, and this would take time, why this wouldn't happen, why we wouldn't ultimately transition to this model. And so when I was going through all of this, this is what he has laid out. You know, when I showed that image of I had the big tech logos in the top left and I had ICP in the bottom left, and I showed just general market share for global cloud computing over time, like over a 20-year period, how big tech cloud probably going to go down and to the right, and how ICP is probably going to go up and to the right. And it will just happen slowly, incrementally over time. That's what this image is showing. He just took it a step further and drew the parallel with the database management systems and the new layer one blockchains that have been coming out and layer twos. And even elaborated talking about the need for those supporting technologies with the existing database management systems as well, and kind of made that parallel to many of the other supporting technologies needed in the Web 2.5 model, right? So, All right. Number of things to go over, but this is important because it helps people conceptualize what's happening here, big picture, right? Like Web 2, Web 2.5, right? We've been over the inherent problems and the risks associated with Web 2.5, and then ultimately transitioning to a full end-to-end on-chain environment. I honestly think this is probably the most valuable thing in the crypto space right now. All right. But it's important to understand that, again, people aren't supposed to understand. And most people have made up their minds. And unfortunately, it's going to take the market telling them what's going on for them to change their mind. And at that point in time, the opportunity has come and gone. So don't expect people to get this overnight because they're not going to. But I mean, we've even just seen in recent months, like just going back 6, 8 months, look at how many newer people Jerry reached, you know? So it is possible. It's just not all going to happen at once. But a lot of times when I talk to people, they just see it sounds like when I'm talking to them, it's like they just see a bunch of random technologies in cyberspace, right? That have nothing really to do with each other, although they kind of do similar things. But the bigger picture, how all of this is going to come together, no real read on that whatsoever. And that's what this helps do. It lays out a blueprint. So, in theory, right, so you have the cloud systems and you have the database management systems. ICP could be a replacement for many of the big tech cloud services. And these layer one blockchains could be a replacement for many of the database management systems. And then at that point in time, you just have ICP and the other layer one blockchains and the other supporting technologies along with that. It's important to know that the inherent issues and the problems with this model are not going to go away. You can create better solutions to mitigate risk over time, but the problems themselves are not going to go away. And at the end of the day, just high level, no true ownership on this model. You have no real governance on this model because at the end of the day, big tech can pull the plug on you at any point in time. And you have inherent security risks with this model. Now, let's draw a distinction between enterprise and retail solutions. For institutions using this model, it's an entirely different ballgame because they have the security infrastructure in place and the personnel to be able to defend against hacks. And at the end of the day, they're probably building out these solutions. They're probably building out these layer twos. And they're implementing them and they're overseeing the management of them. And so they have the resources to do that. The traditional Web3 startup just going to market, just creating some type of DeFi application or whatever it is, they don't have that amount of resources. And one hack could pretty much bankrupt their company. So it's an entirely different ballgame when you're talking about true Web3 startups targeting the retail space and enterprise-based solutions. Like I think VMware already built a layer 2 solution that they're using with Ethereum. So just draw that distinction when you're talking about this model specifically and the risks associated with this model. It is different for institutions than it is for just normal retail-based projects. Okay. But even for institutions, big picture, they're not going to voluntarily use inferior software solutions when better software solutions are available. Now, one might say, well, then why are many of them implementing this general design and model in a solution that uses this design and model? What I would say to that is if my general thesis is accurate, we're on a timeline, we're on a schedule, and all of this has to be done in sequence. And at the end of the day, all of these institutions couldn't just snap their fingers and immediately create clones of whatever software systems they're using on ICP and then implement those solutions and be up and running the next day. That is a the amount of time, energy, resources that would need to go into that is truly insane. And that's why I said I think it's going to take place over a longer period of time, with many of these enterprise systems being rebuilt on chain. All right. So, but another reason why it would make sense for them to go ahead and get this out now and to get some type of blockchain distributed ledger solution in place now for their operations is because the entire economy is being tokenized. And for that to be possible, you kind of need most software systems to have blockchain/distributed ledger functionality. Okay. So just wanted to cover that and just draw a distinction there. But the more limitations, and this was another great part that he went over, the more limitations of these layer one blockchains, the more supporting technologies that you're going to need in order to fill the gaps from all the limitations of the layer one blockchain. Like with ICP, you can do everything end to end on ICP, but with these other layer ones, you can't. So you need additional supporting technologies to fill all the gaps because there's so many limitations with these different systems. Now, what he called it ad hoc solutions, which is very similar to when I was just talking about, hey, you got to have 4 or 5 different technologies in the mix just to create one solution that's not even that secure and that's probably going to have issues scaling when you can build it end to end on ICP and not have to worry about security issues, not have to worry about scaling issues. So ICP checks all the boxes and it makes all the sense in the world. It's just going to be a matter of, in my opinion, nothing's ever a sure thing, not financial advice, but it's just going to be a matter of letting it play out and continuing to do your own research and monitor the situation to see if things are trending in the direction that you anticipate based on your big picture thesis. Okay. Now, for me personally, over the last 6 to 12 months, things are trending in the direction and then some that I would expect them to if if the big picture ICP thesis was correct. Okay. But institutions 1,000,000% do care about the software systems that they use. They have to because they're completely fucked if their software systems go down or don't work. They don't just implement new software solutions, major software solutions for operations on a whim. There is so much due diligence that goes into this before they start implementing those systems. And he touched on something that I do hope he goes back into on a future video, but the amount of resources that corporations, large corporations, need to spend on just maintaining their software systems is insane. I don't even know if there's anybody you would need like a chief technology officer at one of these large corporations to do a video series just breaking down all the complexities involved here. The management of those systems, the maintenance of those systems, protecting against hacks with those systems, making sure those systems stay up to date and those integrations stay in place and they're working properly. There's so many moving parts here. It's truly hard to comprehend. And that's just with one corporation. And it's so vital that you just from time to time pause and just truly understand that globally, from everything that I can see, institutions all over the world are implementing new software systems now, blockchain distributed ledger systems. And the size of that operation is bigger than anybody could explain in words. So, in my opinion, this is the biggest technical operation ever in world history, and it's going to take years to get fully completed. Years. It's already taken years. Think about all the available information that suggests that people have been working on this for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And we still have a long ways to go. So that should give you an idea. And all the institutions appear, if you just watch their actions, it appears like all the institutions are on board here. So it's not like you have, there's some that want to and there's some that don't want to move to this tech. It looks like all of them are pretty much on board with this, and it's still taking years, and we still have a long ways to go. That's how big this operation is. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of that in these stupid, dumbed down NPC conversations that so many influencers are having. We need more people who understand what's going on to be creating content, and we need less influencers talking out of their ass. We just need less influencers in all reality. Okay. Guys, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to add a couple important when I probably didn't even add any important details. I just wanted to kind of go over everything and just say thank you for doing the video. And I hope you continue doing more content. And, guys, it's important to support the more technically knowledgeable people if they are going to cover the space, because if you don't, you're going to be left with a bunch of idiot influencers who are going to add no value whatsoever and who are really just going to waste your time. Having a big picture thesis here matters. Is the thing that will keep you grounded in the hard times. It's the only thing that kept me grounded in the hard times. It's the reason why I continued to buy, because this is where I saw it going. Because I spent the time to generally, the best of my ability, understand how this whole system is designed and where it's going. And this is where I believe it's going. I believe we're going to Web 2.5, which is what's happening right now, and then incrementally over time transitioning to a full end-to-end on-chain internet with ICP at the center of it. So that's all I got. That's it. A couple other points here, actually, because I forgot to mention a few things. He also mentioned how unless you have everything end-to-end on-chain, it would be hard, if not impossible, to even have a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. Wholeheartedly agree. Because with this model, at the end of the day, yes, the token itself launches on the blockchain, right? But at the end of the day, if the user experience, the UI is ran through big tech cloud and they can just shut that down at any point in time, you could have a governance system, but at the end of the day, you're still at the mercy of big tech. And so you can't really have a true DAO model with this design, but you can once you move everything into end on chain. Now, somebody could say, well, dfinity has the majority vote, or they have too much voting power. Okay, it's 2.5 years in, and that's expected to decrease over time. The main point here is that they have the technology and they have the governance system at the network and the application level to actually offer that where it's possible. It's not even possible with this model, because somebody at some publicly traded company that you don't know his name, you don't know anything about him, could ultimately pull the plug on you at any point in time. And so while with this model, assuming over time dfinity's voting power continues to decrease, you can actually offer true governance, true decentralization, true ownership. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you everyone who has liked, share, and subscribed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you again for doing this video. Highly encourage other people to also make content, more educational type stuff, and I'm happy to support you if you do. That's all I have. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next video.